So, let me introduce myself and why I got into photography. When I was in school, we had a society and I joined into the society and got myself interested in photography. Then this was my hobby as I engaged in my career in the field of administration. This continued to be my hobby, but as I was really interested in my interest to further my knowledge in photography, I kept on reading about photography, studying photography, and this was more or less why I gave up my career in administration and thought that I should shift on to photography proper. So, about 30 years back, I thought this is my chosen career, chosen profession, and I moved on, getting a few assignments at the initial stages, starting off with a very basic camera, but then ending up with so many equipment that I now actually own. And of course, now I also thought that I should share my knowledge with others, starting off with small lectures, demonstrations, workshops that I went into. But a few years back, about 10 years back, I was called upon to do some series of lectures, which I still continue at university level, national level, as well as at international level. So, this is how I got into photography and what made me a photographer. Then very often when I talk about photography, when I do my lectures on photography, many ask me, is it something where you can earn a living of? The answer to this is yes, it is possible. For me, a hobby turned profession, and I have made a career of it. This is now my full-time profession. I started off with very simple things like portraits, group photographs, family events, social events, getting on to covering weddings, and I got to know so many people, and this is where I was approached to do commercial assignments, industrial photography, industrial assignments, and so on. But to answer the question, yes, you can make a living of photography. There are so many areas in which one can excel in or make a career of, to learn and to earn. If you think in terms of the areas that you can concentrate on, something simple is portraits, people oriented photographs, weddings, and I know that a wedding can earn hundreds of thousands when covered appropriately. This doesn't come out overnight. You have to actually keep at it, learn, study, and so on, which I will touch upon in a moment. But when you think about the areas that you can get into, there are so many assignments that comes in. Maybe it's going to be to do with architecture, maybe industrial work, where building construction, industries that come up has an opening for photographers. Then there is other genres or the areas that we can think in terms of advertising, products, and with the new commercials coming in on the internet, social media, and so on, lot of products are being photographed, and so many photographers do indulge in such photography. Fashion is another area that we can think about, and so on. Then there is the other area that you can think about, the genres that you can think about, macro photography, then think in terms of medical photography, dental photography, and so on as well. So, depending on what your interest is, yes, the areas that you can go in for is endless. Then how do you actually learn photography? There are so many ways that you can. It is something that you keep on studying, keep on learning, attending workshops and such. But if you think about this as a career, there are many ways. There are so many societies and universities that offer photography. as sometimes as a diploma, as a graduate program. Sometimes you can also learn online on certain things, and this is where we can even think in terms of getting ourselves qualified and recognized in the field of photography, like getting an NVQ qualification, which is possible in Sri Lanka as well. Then of course there are certain others who do photography seriously as a hobby. This is also possible. Getting your qualifications, getting your recognition by sometimes submitting your photographs for national events, exhibitions, where you can actually qualify yourself and get yourselves professional qualifications such as associateships, professional qualifications such as fellowships as well, based on what your genre of photography is. So this is something that you can think about. Then moving on and thinking about photography proper. What is photography? I say that it is an art, it's a science, and it is practice. Why art? Because we have to think artistically. Artistic merit comes in. We have to be creative in our work. Why science? Science is something that also has to be thought of, because we have to control our camera. We need to know how we can manage our camera and its controls. And of course, finally I would say practice. Because without practice, we really can't think in terms of photography. We have to practice. We have to take our photographs. We have to assess our photographs and see. So again, why photography? Again, it's something that is fun. It's really, really interesting. I know personally, because this has been fun for me. You earn with something that you really like, and it is something that I would encourage anybody to get into. So thank you very much for listening to me.